Welcome to Iowa City, home of one of the Big Ten's most consistent programs, Kirk Ferentz's Iowa Hawkeyes. The Hawks fresh off another 9-win season that could have been even more special had it not been for a number of close, heartbreaking losses. No Big Ten school has won more games in the CFP era without making the playoff than Iowa. Is this the year the black and gold breaks through? We'll take a deep dive into the Hawks on our Iowa football training camp special now. Greetings from Iowa City, where the nation's longest tenured coach prepares for season number 28 at the helm of the Hawks. Kirk Ferentz and company with a little bit of a challenge this year, the least returning production of any team in the Big Ten. Hi, everyone. Dave Remsen alongside Howard Griffith and Jake Butt. This was an Iowa team that was so agonizingly close to having a season for the ages a year ago. 4 losses by a total of 15 points. So now, Howard, as you look to make that next step, try to get to the CFP for the first time, what will you be watching today that'll give you an idea of whether they can do that?
Well, I think one of the key things is going to be what happens at the quarterback position. There's still a competition here, and they've got to make a decision on who their starter is going to be. I'm wondering if it's going to lead into the early part of the season before they announce who that starter ultimately becomes.
And I would also say that's a reason to be encouraged about this season and going forward is because of the staff, of course, led by Kirk Ferentz. Phil Parker, we know he's great. Tim Lester has been a really important hire this program has built over the recent years. But part of the reason they were so close is Mark Gronowski, an experienced mobile quarterback. Now they're going to 2 guys in a competition that are not experienced and maybe not as mobile as Gronowski. I'll also have my eyes on the quarterbacks.
The other thing I think is really interesting when you talk about how much production they've lost, this historically has been a developmental program, and it's a badge of honor for them. I mean, it's something they take great pride in. We're in a slightly different day and age, to say the least, in college football. And so when you have a lot of turnover, particularly on the defense, where for Phil Parker, it's we have a system and we build on it, and through the years you learn this is where I need to be, this is what I need to do. How big a challenge is it to not have the kind of continuity that they're used to having?
Well, I think one of the things, you talk about frontline guys, you talk about the people that they lost. Yes, that's going to play out, and it's going to happen. It's going to take some time for this group to come together. But one thing we know about when you're running a system, an established system like this, guys are able to plug in. So it's just a matter of how good will they ultimately be, and I think the early part of the season will give us an idea.
Right, like they know the verbiage, they know the communication and the checks, but now you got to do it in real time. They did it a bunch throughout practice, throughout their careers, but now there's guys that are slotted as leaders of each side of the football that are going to have to step into those roles. The other thing is hey, these guys are experienced on special teams, so they know what it's like to play in a big moment, but now, whether it's offense or defense, they're taking on bigger roles.
You mentioned special teams. I think that's a point of interest here as well. LeVar Woods leaving for another coaching opportunity. So you've got new special teams coordinators, and Kirk Ferentz has been quick to point out as we talk to him in media days, hey, it's not just about a new coordinator, it's a new kicker, new punter, new return guy. We know how good Jayden was here. So there are a lot of moving parts here in Iowa City, but you just feel like, given their history, they'll figure it out. But we're about to find out today just how far along they are.
Get him up, inside, get the right hand inside, right.
Iowa's defense, fabulous as usual a season ago. The 10th straight year, they allowed fewer than 20 points per game, far and away the nation's longest streak. But 11 of the 17 defensive players who saw more than 200 snaps are gone. Just 3 starters back, 2 of them, Jayden Montgomery and Deshaun with Howard.
Guys, thanks for joining me. Talk about how camp has really, kind of defined who you guys are at this particular point.
Yeah, I feel like it's been going really well. I mean, that's what camp's about, right, is figuring out who you are as a team and, for us as a defense, right? So we've just been coming in every single day, trying to have the right mindset, growth mindset, learn from our mistakes, and then, just figure out who we are. But I think it's been going well. So.
Yep, like Mom said, it's a day-by-day process, man. So we just focus on getting better each and every day, being better than the last day. Correcting the last day mistakes, making sure we're not making the same mistakes twice, and we're just trying to grow.
You're a veteran in this group, right? So tell me, how's your leadership style changed just over your time of being here?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Leading by example, that's the number one thing. Had a lot of great leaders ahead of me coming in at 22. We got Coop, Riley, Kayvon, a lot of guys who done it the right way. So just doing exactly what I saw those guys doing every single day, showing up, showing the younger guys how it's supposed to be done, effort, intensity. So I had a lot of great guys ahead of me, so just following their footsteps.
Talk about some of the guys up front that are really going to help make your job a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, the D-line's been doing a great job as a whole. I mean, Bryce Hawthorne, he's a beast in the middle. Like, he's going to be a guy that's going to be tough to block. He makes my job as a linebacker really easy, taking two guys and getting off blocks. And then, we've had all of our ends have been doing a great job. Kenny Merriweather, Campbell, all those guys, they've been doing a great job. So really excited to see what they can do come week 1.
Do you guys think about all the production that was lost? Do you ever think about that, or do you kind of just focus in on what you bring to the program right now?
Yeah, I mean, turnover is nothing new with college football. It happens every single year. So, obviously you'd love to have all those guys for another 5 years, but that's just not how it works, right? So really we're just worried about the guys we got right now and being the best that we can be every single day so that come week 1 we're ready to go. Talk
about some of the young guys at the corner spot. I think you got some guys over there going to help you.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. We got guys, Jacob Wiley, Jalen Watson, Rashad Godfrey, Darian Jones. So we got a lot of depth in the DB room, and we all busting our butts every single day, competing. We pushing one another. One guy making a play that's going to make the other guy want to go in, make some more plays. So we just feeding off of each other energy, and just close-knit brotherhood. So we getting better every single day.
Give me one key, both of you guys, that's really going to help this defense take that next step and really get you to where you ultimately want to go this year.
I would say, honestly, just taking it day by day. Like you said, we lost a lot of people from last year, so we don't have as much experience. But with less experience comes more room for growth, right? So we're just taking it day by day, trying to grow every single day, trying to eliminate the mistakes that we've made and not make those same mistakes twice, so we can be ready to go.
Nice.
Yep, and I'll say just live up to the standard. Before we got in these jerseys, it was guys way before us who was putting in work every single day, busting their butts. And it's all about the standard. So if we all can play up to the standard, go out there, play with intensity, immense effort, and we'll be good.
Yeah, you guys got a great idea of what Iowa football is all about. You guys have been around here. Thanks a lot for your time. Good luck this year. Stay healthy.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
So much more to come on the show. We'll chat with Kirk Ferentz next, how those new faces on D are gelling and what he's learned about his team here in camp. And we'll visit with the man who has helped get the offense back on track here. Tim Lester fills us in on the quarterback battle and more. It's the Iowa Practice Tour Special on the Big Ten Network. We talk a lot about consistency when it comes to Iowa football. Many different ways to measure that. How about this one? Iowa has the 4th longest streak of seasons winning at least 60% of its games nationally, with 11 in a row. The only 3 schools ahead of them, 3 of the most dominant in the sport: Bama, Georgia, and Ohio State.
And Kirk Ferentz is with us now, and some of those numbers are amazing, Coach. In a game where programs seem to ebb and flow a lot, how have you remained so consistent?
Well, first of all, I think it's all about the people. Always has been. And I learned in the 80s it's a pretty good place to coach football. So it was a good time to be here. And being back here the last 20-plus years, it's been a lot of fun. But we've got a great coaching staff, great support staff. That has grown, modern football. And but most importantly, been consistency with the players. They're guys that like to work.
And one of the interesting challenges this year is how much you lost. I mean, 7 players to the NFL draft, which is a modern era record here. And again, it speaks to the consistency and how good you've been. But how big a challenge is it when you're replacing so much star power?
I got a kick out of, I guess we've made some preseason top 25s. A year ago, we should have been. I don't think we were. This year, we probably shouldn't be, but we are, which tells you what those things really are made of. But basically, we got a lot of work to do. It was a good senior class last year. These guys did a great job, not only playing, but also giving leadership. And so I think any coach obviously values that experience and then guys that are positive leaders. But the good news is we got a bunch of guys that have been willing for the most part. Our team was pretty much here. About 95% of it was here back in January. So they've been together 8 months, and they're working at it daily, and I think we're a team that can improve as we go.
When you're a developmental program, which you are, and you've done such a great job with it through the years, how's it different first of all, just this era where you have more transfers in and you've started to take more here in recent years, but just kind of the notion that you may not have players come in as a freshman and obviously you're not going to redshirt anyone anymore, but kind of move them along. How different is it with that?
It is different. And, you have to, I think, take advantage of the portal to supplement your roster. That's kind of our goal, is to keep the bulk of it from recruiting. But if we have an opportunity to supplement, I think that's a good thing. And then, as I was alluding to, we had our biggest number of first-year guys show up in January last year. I'm sure that's going to be a trend also. So, unlike years past, you had the majority of your team here before the June workouts, and I think that's just helped everybody understand better. But that doesn't give them game experience, and that's part of the challenge here as we move forward.
We've gone a long time without talking about the quarterback. Tell me a bit about Hecklinski and Brown and how those guys have come together here in camp.
Really pleased with both guys. The first thing I would say is they're both much better than they were a year ago, which is expected. They've been in the program, and I've gotten a lot of work in the system and that type of thing. So both the attitudes have been great. Guys have their ups and downs. It goes back and forth, kind of like you'd expect, but it's been really close to call. And we'll just see where it all goes. We'll probably have to make a decision here sometime sooner than later, but I could easily see both guys playing until we get our feet on the ground and figure out what's going to happen.
What's the biggest strength of each guy?
They're both a little bit different, but they both, I think, are really adept learners, and they have a little different strengths in terms of their style of play. But the bottom line is moving the team, and our guys believe in both of them, and just seeing some positive things. It's just, the consistency part's going to be the biggest thing.
You lost some star power on the offensive line from last year. How have you seen that group come together here in camp?
Yeah, I would compare it this way. A couple of years ago, we got depleted with injuries and had a couple guys leave the program. So we got forced to play some guys like Connor Colby, Mason Richmond, probably before they were ready for Big Ten competition. You hate to do that, but we had no choice. And credit to both those guys for, fighting through it, and they both played really well as seniors and juniors, both playing in the NFL now. So the comparison or the contrast is right now we're not in that situation. We have guys that have been here. I think we've got a good, healthy competition, probably 7-8 guys, but they've all been here for a while, and I think if we put them on the field, they'll at least be able to go out and do a decent job playing.
On the defensive side, when we talked in Chicago, you were saying that was an area of concern for you. What have you seen up front on defense?
Seeing growth, seeing improvement, but we still got a ways to go. And then, needless to say, playing in Big Ten competition week in and week out, that's the toughest places to play in terms of that maturity and what have you is up front, close to the ball, either side of the ball on the line of scrimmage. So, we're just going to keep playing. We'll rotate guys, keep them coming, and they're working hard. Got great attitude, and we've seen improvement the last 3 weeks.
I wanted to ask you about special teams. Obviously, LeVar Woods, moving on, did an amazing job. Chris Polizzi is now your special teams coordinator. I know he was an analyst last year. He spent some time around the program previous to that. What made him the right guy for that position?
It's very similar to what we did when we made LeVar the special teams coach. The NCAA at that time expanded the coaching staffs. It gave us the opportunity to dedicate somebody solely to that. And LeVar had coached tight ends and linebackers, and obviously played. And Chris, same way. Chris has been a defensive coordinator. He's been in front of the room, so that was not an issue. And he's a football guy, and we've got good support there, so it's the same playbook. And the biggest concern, Chris has done a great job. The biggest concern is we graduated all 4 of our specialists. I think our core guys look good, but we're going to ride the roller coaster a little bit, and that's just part of the deal.
It's the old Jimmys and Joes versus X's and O's notion of it. I did want to ask you about Tom Moore. I mean, it's amazing to see him out here. And then I was talking with Reese Morgan. He was telling me 3:45 in the morning, Tom shows up.
He even beats Reese and Kevin Spencer. He beats both those guys.
3:45.
Yeah, I don't know when he goes to bed. I have no idea.
What has it meant though to have him here, and kind of what do you lean on him for?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. He's got a lot of wisdom. Obviously, there's not much he hasn't seen or done, and so he just watches what's going on and makes very simple, tactful suggestions. But his wisdom, little things he'll see, little tips, and he does the same thing with players. He'll just kind of, nuzzle up to him a little bit and give him some advice, that type of thing. So it's been just great to have him here. It means a lot. This is his school. He graduated here in '60, and it means a lot for him. I think it means way more for us, and it's just been a great benefit for everybody.
What about having Jay Norvell back, speaking of people who really love this place?
Same thing, amazing. Jay was our honorary captain at the end of the year last year in November. First time he'd been on campus in 40 years, which is hard to believe. He and I are both freshmen in 1981. I was a freshman coach. He was a freshman player. Little did I know back in November that we would have this opportunity, be agreed to be an analyst, and we lost a really good coach. Omar Young went to the Raiders, and so it just made perfect sense, and it's been great to have him. Jay's got a lot of, big picture vision too, and just really good with the players.
28 years for you. I mean, you make Jerry and Howard and me look like Johnny-come-latelys in this league. Just 20 years for us. What still excites you every year as you get to this point?
It started in July. You start getting anxious about camp and, what are we going to do? And are we going to be able to get through it? And meetings, practice, all that stuff. But once you get going, then that's the fun part of it because you don't have as much time to think about it. I'll go through my anxiety this week, too, with games coming up, the real games. But it's just, I think it's that anticipation, the anxious feeling you get when you want something to look good. And the best part still is the people you get to work with on a daily basis, be it our staff, our support staff, and the primary group are the players. And that was that way in the 80s. That's why I enjoyed being here, and I've always enjoyed that aspect. We got a great group right now.
How does that anxiety manifest itself? What does an anxious Kirk Ferentz look like?
Probably calm, but it's all facade. I can assure you that. It's a total facade. Yeah.
Biggest things you need to get done between now and when you kick off?
Just stay healthy, obviously. I think we're in pretty decent shape right now, but we still have some rigorous work to do here the next couple of days. And then we'll transition into game prep, but we've got to stay healthy and just try to get the guys to grow as fast as they possibly can. Same drill every year, basically.
Well, Coach, fun to be here. Always appreciate your hospitality.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Dave. Appreciate it.
More on the quarterback battle next. We'll visit with Tim Lester as he fills us in on that, as well as the rebuilt offensive line. Stick around. Continuing from Iowa City, where the Hawks have experienced a 2-year offensive revival under coordinator Tim Lester. Lester inherited an attack that had finished dead last among power conference teams nationally in scoring in 2023. Just a couple years in, they've nearly doubled their scoring output per game. They've done so with a commitment to the run. More than 55% of their yards came on the ground last year, highest in the Big Ten.
Joined now by offensive coordinator Tim Lester. We'll get to that run game, which has been so impressive, in just a moment, but I would lose my license to practice sportscasting if I did not ask you off the top about the quarterback battle. What do you see?
Yeah, it's really been back and forth. I mean, the numbers, we track everything, and young, not a lot of experience. We've had some ebbs and flows, but they've both been executing at a pretty high level, and it's been fun to watch them. It's going to go all the way. It might go into the season. None of them have really played a ton in games, and they're both executing at a pretty high level. So it's going to be. It might not be a game one starter. It might be a year the first at bat. And if they go there and play well, but I think we got two guys that they're capable of executing what we're asking them to do.
You mentioned the numbers being really similar, and Kirk had mentioned that to me during practice as well. What are the things that you value the most? I mean, again, like there's a ton of numbers out there.
There's tons,
but
yeah.
If you were to prioritize or highlight one or two, what are the biggest ones for you?
I would say the three biggest ones is turnovers, obviously, and as a couple, I haven't seen the numbers in a couple days, but 2 days ago they were tied at that. Explosive plays. Some guys, they just want to check down so they have better numbers, but we have to be able to create explosive plays. And then time to throw, which is a PFF number, but we do it every single day in practice. And that was the craziest stat for me. We had 100, I think one had 164 and one had 162. And all those play pass, screens, boots, their time to throw is identical, 2.47. Which is amazing, mathematically amazing.
There's an evolution that happens, too, as you transition through quarterbacks. And last year with Gronowski, you get a guy that had played a ton of football. Yeah. He's mobile. Now it's kind of the opposite with these two guys. Does that lead, will we see an evolution or any differences in your offense this fall?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things we won't run. You know what I mean? But there's other ways to run those plays. We might not read an end, we might read a linebacker now and make it more of a hand to throw read instead of a hand to, hey, Mark, go do your thing, And there's other ways to, to make sure that, we motion the back out and direct snap, or motion the quarterback out and direct snap it. So there's always a way to run the plays, because my biggest thing, I think, with this offense is what can we get good at executing, and we can make it look like 100 plays, but it'll be the same play for the guys up front talking about the run game. Just get really good at doing something, and we can make it look like a lot of different things.
I may not lose my broadcasting license, but I'll lose my former tight end card if I don't ask you about the tight ends.
Yes.
You got Addison Estrenga back from an Achilles. He looks like he's moving really well, but of course DJ has been generating a ton of buzz, and then you got even options behind him. How's that group been performing?
Yeah, it's super talented and deep. Obviously everyone knows DJ and Addy, and I couldn't agree with you more on, you never know how a guy's going to come back from an Achilles, and he's running around and making plays. Thomas Myers, a young freshman who's super talented, and then Ortworth's back. So we have 4 guys in there that rotate them through, and it gives us a lot of freedom in splitting them out because of DJ's skill set, going 3 tight ends, and just trying to keep. Thomas made a big play today on the short yardage. So. It is a great time to look at a room that has a lot of depth and will help us, especially with a young quarterback. There's nothing better than a quarterback than a tight end. And so hopefully we can keep those guys going, keep them healthy, because those guys have a tough job. They're in there and blocking their tails off, and so if they stay healthy, we got a really, really healthy room. They block, the offensive line blocks. I just love watching Iowa's offensive line, the zone schemes. Everyone steps in unison with great pad level. It's 5 plus the tight ends working as 1. How important is that and valuable to your play calling abilities? It really sets everything up, right? In the Shanahan system, the wide zone play is what gets everything off the ground, and so them all being together and the play pass comes off that and the movements come off that. And we're at the point now where we've run the same plays so many times against the defense that me and Phil are at each other's throats. But you got to see 9-on-7 today. And that's about as pretty. It's a pretty drill. If you love old school football, that's what we do. And we're getting better at reading it, and the young guys get reps at it. We got tons of reps in about 8 minutes, and so it really does, because it's the beginning to all the pieces of our offense, but it all comes off one play.
There's a couple FCS guys that have been generating buzz in the wide receiver room, even in the running back room. Why was that the right path to take for your offense?
Well, I just think we really were looking receiver-wise. We're looking for people that had played and have production, like people. I don't know what everyone else is paying for, but I'd be happy to pay for production. And both Tony and Evan had a ton of catches last year. They go out there, they've done it before on a college football field, and they look like they've done it when they get out there. And then LJ is just had super productive last year, physical, kind of fits what we do, and great personalities, all of them. So they all have multiple years left. And, the young receivers came in and got to go be a part of Iowa's strength program, which they needed. And I think they both put on like 20 pounds, and they look better. And so it's been fun. It's been exciting watching those guys, and they've really added to those 2 rooms.
I've always thought it's interesting, you think about basketball recruiting, right? And you get like AAU and all these guys are out on the court together, and you can see, okay, you know who they're playing against. It is so different with football, and how do you compare 8A in Illinois to 5A in Texas, whatever it is, right? And I think it's the same dilemma of sorts with FCS guys. So like, how do you look at FCS production and say, I think this could translate? Obviously, you did it great with Gronowski a year ago.
Yeah, I don't think the separation is as big as people think. Like if you're out there, and I don't know, Tony had 68 catches last year, and as a redshirt freshman, and Evan had, I think, 48 as a true freshman at Furman. And you can watch him. You're watching Furman play Clemson, and he's out there making catches. You're like, well, it looks like he can do it, And so you really look at those games when they play up, because they all did. And I didn't know where University of Texas Rio Grande Valley was. It's a lot of initials.
It's right near the Rio Grande.
It started at the 30 UTRGV, and he was running around making plays. And so it was fun getting those guys in here and really watching them in the spring. They're still learning. It's not an easy system to learn, but they've been able to make some plays for us, which is what we could really use on the edges.
Last question for you. How, a couple years in now, it's year 3, where is your offense compared to where you wanted it to be?
We're closer than we've ever been, right? Last year was a very unique year in that, Mark could run. I mean, it was kind of fun studying that in the offseason and using that, some of that stuff. But, I think we have a lot of great tools right now. It's fun watching the old linemen come in, even the guys that haven't played, but they've been running it for 3. This is their 3rd year, like Leighton Jones, left guard. New guy. They're like, okay, can you replace Bo? And he's coming in here and he's running off the ball. He's been doing it for 3 years. So we definitely have more in the playbook now than we did last year, and way more than in year 1. because the guys are understanding. This will be the first time I have a quarterback that has been in the system before. Yeah. So we're in year 2 for all our quarterbacks other than our freshmen. And so it just gives you a lot more. Once you know the answers, if you watched Mark at the end of the year last year, when he had the answers, he knew where to go with the ball in all the different situations. I felt like we were operating really well at the end of the year. And hopefully we can get to that earlier this year.
Great stuff. Tim Lester, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
A look at the quarterback comparison. Brown was the number 2 last year, playing behind Mark Gronowski. Has significantly more experience in his career, much of it coming during his time at Auburn. Threw 21 passes as a Hawkeye last year, completing just over half of them with a touchdown and a pick. Hecklinski played sparingly in 2 games, completing both of his attempts.
And fellas, talked to Tim Lester just a few minutes ago, and we heard him say this may go into the season with the quarterbacks and may not be a clear-cut decision made here in camp based on what you saw today. Does that make sense to you?
Well, no, I mean, today, Hank Brown won the day. But then I go back in the children's scrimmage at the stadium, Hecklinski won the day. And that's the challenge with the camp tour. I would trust Tim Lester and Kirk Ferentz far more than our data. They said that the data that they have is neck and neck. But to me, you know, the offense isn't built to put a ton of weight on either guy. I'm excited about the offensive line. I'm really excited about the tight ends. The receivers are generating a ton of buzz. So they're insulated. You bring in a guy in Tom Moore who's a living football encyclopedia. So they've done a good job of insulating these guys. And thankfully, they're not going to ask the quarterbacks to put the entire weight of the team on their shoulders.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's going to come down to who's able to take care of the football. Who's able to lead the team in a game situation. The hot hand, so to speak, is where this is going to go. But I think as coaches have talked about it, it's been neck and neck, and it's been up and down all summer, and there's no clear front runner. So if there's not, then you goes into the season, and I feel comfortable with them being able to do that.
And the thing, too, real quick, Dave, is there's not many defenses that are going to be more challenging for a quarterback than Phil Parker's defense. So I think early in the season, more things will be revealed.
It was a challenging day for the quarterbacks. I think it's fair to say that, particularly Jeremy Hecklinski. But again, to your point, Jake, I mean, they have an open scrimmage, and he's fabulous. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is when you've got new players who haven't played a whole lot, haven't taken a ton of snaps, being thrust into those positions. It's going to be up and down. As you mentioned, offensive line, run game, there's so much else that they do well here offensively. This line lost some NFL guys. What did you guys think of the group and how it's coming together?
They'll be competing for a Joe Moore Award once again. I mean, it is just beautiful to watch them operate. They got a few guys that are, you know, Cade Piper or Trevor Locke at tackle that will be day 2, maybe day 1 draft picks. But this is just a well-oiled machine. The way they operate in their outside zone schemes, the way the tight ends block, and I really like what they have at running back as well.
Yeah, you start to think about just the zone blocking schemes, and you alluded to it. You see one guy step to the left, they're all stepping to the left. To the right, it's like synchronized swimming when we have an opportunity to come here. So they're so well coached and understand where the hand placement is important. So if that opens things up for this run game, you've talked about that room, I think they should be excited about what they have in the room, but it all has to start up front. And yes, they've lost some guys up there, but they have guys that are really going to be able to help this team, and that's what's ultimately going to help this quarterback situation.
Mm-hmm. We talked about the open scrimmage, and Hecklinski was great in that one. Diaz, wide receiver, was really good too. They've got a couple of FCS transfers that have come in at wide receiver. Remember, no one caught more than 30 passes here last year, so you need someone to step up. Did you see maybe an alpha there in that wide receiver room?
I would say just today, like, the defense won the day, so we take it all with a grain of salt, but I'm able to look at the movement patterns of Diaz, and I can see why the team's excited. Vanderzee was injured last season. He made some plays today. That's good. I think the real reason to be excited in the pass game is the tight ends. Yes. And Addison's back really healthy and doesn't look like he had surgery last year. DJ might be a first-round pick next year.
Jones is going to be really good for him. He's one of those guys that has come in and added some weight, be good for him in punt returns and kickoffs as well. So I think he'll give him that added depth at the wide receiver position.
And that in area, obviously, with the special teams losses, Caden Weegan particularly, who was one of the great return men that we have seen in this league. That's a role that they need filled. And Kirk Ferentz talked a lot about, hey, we didn't just lose a special teams coordinator, we lost special teams performers, and perhaps they found an answer here in camp.
We will turn our attention to the defense next and talk with a man who runs the nation's most consistent unit on that side of the ball. Phil Parker on how his relatively new group is coming together.
Over the last decade, no school in the country has played better defense than Iowa when measured by the most important statistic, scoring defense, allowing fewer than 17 points per game in that stretch, the entirety of which has been overseen by coordinator Phil Parker. Last year, no exception, the Hawks in the top 10 nationally in both total D and scoring D. And defensive coordinator Phil Parker joins us now. Coach, how different is it when you come into camp and you've got so much turnover in terms of personnel as compared to last year?
Well, definitely, with the experience of last year that we had, it was very easy going through camp. Everybody kind of knew what was going on and knew what everybody else knew. And I think when you bring some guys in from the portal, and I think them guys really adapted, and our guys really brought these guys in. So they've been together for almost, during the springtime, going through 15 days of there, and now we're done with another 16 here. So I think that we're kind of gelling a little bit right now, so it feels a little bit better right now.
Feels like the area that you needed to reinforce the most was the defensive line, maybe that whole front seven. How have you seen that group come together here?
Well, obviously the growth in there, Hawthorne's coming back in there, and Luke has done a great job in there, and Devin Kennedy has done a good job inside. So it's going to be a group of guys in there to kind of hold up the inside guys, and then on the outside, you got Merriweather back, you got Yosei back, Epinesa, you got Brown that we brought in that can help us out there, another guy. So, I think we'll have at least, we want to have 8 to 10 guys, to be able to rotate in there. I think that's what you need.
Coach, you talked about not giving up the explosive plays, or at least having a number on that. Where does that come from when you decide, it's going to be this number versus explosive plays that we cannot allow?
Well, I think, we've been doing a study over the last, 10, 15 years of, if you're giving up big plays, anything over 25, I say 2 or more. Okay. We're usually giving up a lot of, if we go 2 or less, we're giving up about 13 points a game. And I think that's decent. Anytime over that, it's double. You're going 27. So we're trying to eliminate the explosives, stop the run. Sometimes you got to use the secondary guys in the back and bring them up a little bit, but, it's a challenge.
How's the competition been opposite of Lee at the cornerback position?
Well, it's been interesting. I think Jayden Watson's done a really good job. Wallace has done a good job. And Godfrey, all 3 of those guys are really playing well. I'm feeling confident that we'll have, really good depth back there. And I'm pleased the way they've been going through camp. And, they got to make sure they stay healthy, and hopefully we're healthy here in about 2 weeks.
Coach, one of the things that's always been outstanding about this secondary is the amount of turnovers. They've been able to come up with interceptions or fumble recoveries. What do you attribute that to?
I think we put an emphasis on it. I think if you were at practice today, we go through a cycle of trying to get turnovers, and the idea is to get the ball back for the offense as fast as we can, without taking chances. You know what I mean? Let the plays come to you, and, they'll eventually come if you're reading your keys.
What do you enjoy the most about this time of year?
This time of year, well, you don't have a game. So we're 0-0 right now. But, no, it's just to see guys grow a little bit. And, they come in the beginning of camp and see how much they grow. And even the older guys, the maturity of some guys like Deshaun Lee and Lutmer, how they take control in the back end. And Jayden Montgomery, the way he's been leading. So, I mean, you start seeing that stuff, and they're growing. You're seeing kids grow up a little bit.
Well, Phil Parker, really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing the Hawks back out there here in the next couple weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Lots of different ways to quantify the challenge here for Parker. This is one way to do it. No team in the Big Ten is returning less defensive production than the Hawks, just 40%. Just 2 of the top 7 tacklers from a season ago are back this year.
Guys, you look at those numbers and you say, man, they have a lot of work to do. But, Howard, we talk about this all the time. It's almost unfair. The assumption is simply that Phil Parker's going to get it done. And I always think it kind of ignores all of the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to get it done. But what did you see today from that side of the ball?
I think when you look at Hawthorne and Kennedy, on the defensive line. Those two young men give them an opportunity. They're going to get pressure on the quarterback, and that's going to be an important part of everything that they do. But you're right. We just assume that the defense is just going to get it figured out because Coach Parker has done a tremendous job since he's been here of putting them in position and those guys executing and running the game plan to the best of their ability.
Well, part of the reason I think we're all confident in it is, of course, Phil Parker, but the guys that are replacing the guys that left are guys that have been in the program for the most part. So now they're upperclassmen and they get a chance to now it's their starting role. Linebacker coach Seth Wallace thinks that this is the deepest linebacker room that he's maybe ever had. There's more starters than there is starting positions. I think the D-line is the position group I'm most curious in. And one guy I just want to see really flash is the Kamari Brown, a transfer from the FCS. He had 13 sacks last year. He's got the size and traits to succeed, but it's a big adjustment, especially going up against this Iowa offensive line every day. That's one area. Can they pressure the quarterback in true pass rush situations for them to start to flash and figure out before the season?
I'm with you, Howard. You were talking about Bryce Hawthorne. He's a guy who really jumps out when you watch practice. He's a tough player on the interior, making a lot of plays today against what we know is a really good offensive line. So that's the area. I mean, up front on defense is the area that they've talked about. That's their concern. And I think as we watch today, you see a lot of potential answers there. How about in the secondary?
I love the secondary. I love the length. You know, it's just something that they've always been able to attract here. And those guys have some time put in. And honestly, Jones, the true freshman, there's some front line. He's not going to be a starter yet. But to me, he has an opportunity to be one of these really special corners that they have here. Expect him to be involved in a lot of the sub packages and a big part of special teams.
The length and the instincts, too, just the ability to trigger. And there was a few turnovers forced defensively. I know that's against your own offense, but when that's against opponents this fall, it'll help your offense. And I just think you can close your eyes and hear good football. The communication in the secondary and the linebacker groups, that's what really stood out to me. So even with the new faces, you can see this unit starting to gel and really come together.
And again, this is where they're so good. I mean, you go back a decade, there's no team that's picked off more passes in the country than Iowa has. They gave up just 9 passing touchdowns a season ago. Based on what we saw today, and I think, kind of coming in, I was wondering, is this going to be, the defense is always going to be good here. I mean, we've gone over and over all the historical numbers that point that out. But do you see this as a defense that is at the level of where they've been here in recent years?
It's so hard to say in one day. I don't know if it was just off this practice, I'd be excited. But, I think maybe part of that was the offense falling a little bit short. I think turnovers will be a big part of this defensive storyline this season.
Yeah, we know they can go out and play, and they're going to execute the game plan because they'll be able to get to that point. Whether they'll be as good as they've been in the past, who knows? But I think you might as well bet with Coach Parker that he's going to make sure that he has the right guys out there playing.
I'm guessing the guys will know what to do.
Yes,
right?
no doubt.
That gets conveyed here in no uncertain terms. It's part of the reason Iowa's been so incredibly consistent.
Back to the offense next as Jake sits down with a couple of the stars on that side of the ball for the Hawks. Kamari Moulton and DJ Vonnahme straight ahead. Iowa has some uncertainty at quarterback, as we mentioned, but no such issues at running back with the return of Kamari Moulton. While Moulton didn't go over 100 yards in any games last year, he hit the 75-yard mark 9 times. Only Emmett Johnson, who led the conference in rushing, got there more. Moulton and former walk-on tight end DJ Vonnahme with our tight end, Jake Butt.
All right, Kamari, DJ, following some trends here, it was a breakout season for both of you guys last season. And now you guys are kind of the guys, the vets in each of your room. And I'll start with you, Kamari. What does that mean for you, and what's been different about fall camp this time around?
Really just stepping into that leadership role. I wouldn't say that's something new for me, but that's different just being in the college realm and just really just being that, guy for the older dudes and just trying to lead them the right way while also maintaining where I'm at. So I'll say it's definitely been a good step for me just mentally and just being for a leadership.
And then for DJ, I know Addison is also, he was injured last year, but you really broke out, especially late last season. What's been different about this fall camp?
Yeah, I'd just say to piggyback off Kamari, just the leadership thing. I was never really a big talker, but definitely vocalizing more, helping out the younger guys, just making sure everyone's in check, in line with what we're trying to get done. And yeah, I'd say just the leadership aspect and just the vocalization of it.
And then also it's year 3 with Tim Lester calling plays, and Tim Lester likes to run the ball and throw to the tight end. So what has he meant for your development, and how excited are you to play with him this fall?
I definitely seen the transgression, coming from his first year to third year. I could definitely see everybody just being a lot more confident in the system and knowing what to do. So, and just now it's just really just playing and just being free with it. So I'm very excited. I'm sure DJ very excited, and just ready to start the season.
Are you excited?
Oh, I'd say I'm very excited. I mean, last year I was kind of just, everyone's still, it's year 2, so we're still just trying to understand what to do, not really focusing on the defense, but just really what we're doing because of how complex the offense is. But definitely going to year 3, everyone's a lot more understanding of what we're trying to get done, and then also trying to paint in like what the defense is doing too, so we can play a lot faster and a lot smoother.
We go around this camp tour, Kamari, and I always find myself drawn to watching Iowa's offensive line drills and the inside run. They're just such a quality unit. From your vision, what stands out about this group, and how nice is it to run behind the Hawkeyes, O-line and tight ends as well?
Just a lot of grit, man. They got a lot of passion with what they do, and they love what they do, and just seeing that and the energy they bring every day to compete and want to be the best O-line in the nation. It feeds us energy as a running back. You love when your big boys are working, so it makes me excited, I'll say.
And then DJ, you were a quarterback in high school. Where'd you learn to block? I mean, I saw you out there. You're mixing it up, and you seem to enjoy blocking. Where did that come from?
I'd say it came from just knowing what we're trying to get done here at Iowa. Just we want to run the ball, and just knowing that if you want to get on the field, you got to be able to run blocks. So I mean, Coach Hodge, Coach Burnett, Coach Ferentz just done a really good job of just helping me develop my run blocking, because it wasn't pretty to start. I'll say that for sure, but definitely just them trusting me and just taking it step by step has really helped me out.
Now, I know there's a quarterback battle going on. I'm not going to ask you guys to pick anyone, but you're in the huddle, and maybe is there something unique that stands out to you about each guy, something that's different about each guy?
I'll say, for me, I'll say they both very competitive. It's very competitive in the huddle, and just they love competing. I can't really decipher which one, but I'll say they definitely bring an energy to the team, and it's competing, and we love to compete.
How about catching passes from either? Anything unique about either guy from your eyes?
I mean, I feel like they both throw great balls. I mean, they're both in command of the huddle. Everyone's focused, listening to what they're saying. So if either one of them's in the game, I feel really confident in both of them to execute at a high level.
I was noticing at practice today just the level of competition with the defense, and you guys might win a rep and then the defense gets to come back. Obviously, Phil Parker's the standard in college football. How important is that for your development?
I feel like that's very important. Just having a good defense to go against every day, that's just making you better. And like I said before, competing is the best way to get better. So having that edge and just knowing that not every play gonna be there for you, it just keeps your drive.
And then for DJ, who are some of the guys that have stood out to you when you're running your routes, whether it's linebackers or secondary elements that are guarding you in coverage?
Yeah, I'd say Cam Buffington, and just all the inside linebacker group. I feel like they're doing a really good job of giving us a really good look and really testing us and making us compete to be able to get open. So I'd say that group specifically, but I feel like all of them are doing a great job right now, just helping us compete and get better.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to watch you guys. You got class today, right? It's the first day of class. All right. Well, good luck with class and good luck this fall. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Final thoughts from Iowa City, just moments away. Plus, we look at the slate ahead for Kirk Ferentz's team. The end of the tour road coming at you next. Here is the schedule for the Hawks. They open right here on the Big Ten Network against Northern Illinois. In-state battles with Iowa State and Northern Iowa, both at home. First 3 conference games are tough. At Michigan, home with Ohio State, and then at Washington. After that, they play the entire old Big Ten West in succession, including road games against Minnesota, Northwestern, and Illinois. They finish at home with the annual Black Friday battle with the Huskers.
So interesting schedule quirk there with all the old Big Ten West teams at the end of the conference slate. I don't want to say the 3 toughest games are the first 3, but kind of on paper, those might be the best teams that they'll face, at least based on preseason prognostication. What do you think about having those games early, given where they are here in camp?
Well, I would just say you need to use those out-of-conference games to really get clarity and make a quarterback decision ahead of playing Michigan. And then I would also say that Michigan game I'm just very intrigued in for Iowa and for Michigan, because Bryce Underwood is a guy that's a little bit unproven, and he's going to go up against this Iowa Hawkeye defense. I think that's a matchup that's going to reveal a ton of clarity for both Iowa and for Michigan.
Yeah, I think it can. The tone setter, you start to think about the first 3 games. Those will be important when you talk about making a quarterback decisions. Those are games that those quarterbacks should be able to have some success. The Cy-Hawk Trophy, you never know what happens in that one, but they have to be able to come out of that knowing who their guy is going to ultimately be, so that they can start to develop this offense.
Big picture takeaway, I mean, I think it's really fascinating to see how little production they have coming back. So you are counting on players who haven't necessarily performed at this level. They went heavy into FCS. They have 15 transfers. 9 of them are FCS transfers. We saw a lot of those guys out on the field today. They will make big contributions. They'll be a big part of this team. As you leave Iowa City, what conclusions do you draw?
Well, it's the same conclusion that I would almost always draw with Kirk Ferentz and Phil Parker, and I'd include Tim Lester, where the sum is greater than the parts here. And there's a ton of new faces, but this is a system and a program that knows exactly who they are. These are new faces, but guys that have been in the program for the most part. And then I like the different pieces that they've added from the FCS level or the transfer portal. So I can see why there's a ton of excitement around here.
Production is important. And even if you've done it on a lower level, there's a reason that they brought you up. And there's a reason that those guys are going to have to be able to help this program. When you can go out and produce and put up the numbers that you've put up in the past, regardless of level, I believe that you can do that. There is enough data over the last couple of years to prove that they should be able to get that done.
Can I leave you with one note here?
Please do.
I was talking to the tight end, Coach Hodges, and he told me about DJ Vonnahme, the tight end. He said, obviously, there's been a bunch of great tight ends that came here, but he said Phil Parker came up to him, the tight end coach, and said, hey, I need to know when DJ's in the game because I can't have a linebacker on him. It's got to be a nickel or a safety. So that's my breakout performer of this season, an Iowa tight end.
Well, I love that we leave it with a comment about tight end play. I would expect nothing different. Next stop on our Big Ten Network tour is home.
The office.
Yes, we are done. We are into week 0. There's Big Ten football this week with USC playing. Remember, we start with a doubleheader on the Big Ten Network on Thursday night of week 1. What a great tour it has been, and now it is time for football. Thanks to everyone here in Iowa City, including Matt Weitzel, who always is great as the SID. We will see you as we get set for football in the Big Ten this week.